over here joking about the FBI. Since when is that funny?
Major Rico against Tony Soprano? Those things take years to build.
Throughout The Sopranos, we got to see multiple FBI agents. In this video, I'm going to break down each of them. And then I'm going to give each of them a letter grade. So let's get to it. First up,
I gotta get my jacuzzi.
Too much stress in your life, Sal.
Agent Lipari was goofy, but I think for all intents and purposes, he was pretty fair. He did chauffeur Puss to and from his doctor's appointments. He let Puss continue earning while working as a confidential informant. And he didn't really force Puss to do anything on the spot that Puss was really opposed to.
Been thinking about taking some courses while I'm in the camp. Psychology, criminology.
I'm kind of worried about Sal with these fantasies of law enforcement.
These things can work two ways, Skip.
That's the closest CW16 ever got Tony to discussing the Bevilacqua murder on tape?
I think at this point, it's time to consider 16 bumping sour compost.
You can find yourself getting too close.
I feel really close to you.
I was gonna go sit with a Starbucks.
So was I.
You wanna go together?
Yeah.
Great.
My friend Danielle Cicolella.
For purposes of consistency, I'm going to call her Danielle.
I feel really close to you.
You can find yourself getting too close.
My gynecologist says that there's a good chance I won't be able to hold a pregnancy.
Sometimes it helps to talk, huh? I know a great OBGYN that my sister went to in the city.
Part of me thinks the reason that Danielle was so sympathetic at that moment was because she may have gone through pregnancy issues herself. We see her with a little baby in the season 4 premiere, and then she mentions a gynecologist in the city that her sister used. Perhaps the sister, quote unquote, was the agent herself. But then of course she hits below the belt and has one of her nastiest moments when she mentions the little creatures to Adriana right as she's about to walk out of Adriana's life.
Where are you going?
You're gonna be working with Agent Sanseverino here.
What? Why?
It's for your own safety. And you know what we were talking about? About the little creatures? Good luck with that. I mean it.
Even if Danielle was being sincere here, come on, not good timing.
Anthony Soprano.
What are you doing in my backyard?
Gate was open.
Agent Harris was an interesting fella.
I want to introduce you to my new partner, Joe Marquez, Tony Soprano.
How you doing?
What's the matter, no openings in the post office?
How about those nets, huh?
Yeah, with a series.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that guy, Williams.
He's one of the first FBI agents we meet, and he stays with us all the way through to the end of the series. At which point, it's become pretty clear that Agent Harris and Tony have more in common than it may otherwise seem.
Just leave it out, all right? I'll heat it up. Well, then don't leave it out.
Particularly in this scene in Made in America, Agent Harris gets a call and you can tell it's from his wife, and she's angry that he's not home yet and that he might be home late for dinner. And Tony can totally identify with that because it's an exact call that he's gotten from Carmela before.
Now everything's cold.
Well, that's why they invented microwaves for inconsiderate husbands.
We also see that Agent Harris is having an extramarital affair, which is another thing that he has in common with Tony.
Your problem with Brooklyn? It's on again, possibly. You. Maybe people close to you.
Hey, Adriana.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why don't you go haunt a house or something?
With Agent Sanseverino, she tried being relatable for a few minutes, but she wasn't quite as good at that as Danielle.
I was married to an agent. Climbed right over me to become an assistant supervisor in the Milken task force.
God, that's terrible.
So, where were we?
At certain moments, it looked like she was trying to become closer to Adriana, get Adriana to open up a little bit. But it was only to a point. She was never consistent with it.
We really don't know him. He listens.
She could be in China by now.
As we both know, there's been an attempt on your life. You have enemies. I'd say it's a safe assumption that you may have finally run out your string here in North Jersey.
Frank Cubitoso is the chief of FBI's organized crime branch in Newark.
God only knows what he says.
You Wyatt Green
He must
Grove.
have really taken me for an idiot.
It was my idea. Everyone else thought it was a waste of money.
What if I say no?
If you say no, you'll be placed under arrest and charged with possession and intent to distribute cocaine.
The last time we see Chief Cubitoso is in long-term parking.
Or in the alternative, you can cooperate.
You've been giving us shit, and I've had it.
There wasn't much to know, other than on the one occasion we see him in The Sopranos Season 6 premiere, members only.
So where you been, buddy? Haven't heard from you lately.
Busy, you know. My kid has some problems.
That's rough. Thing is, Gino, you gotta keep in touch with me. You're gonna have a chance to help out in even more important ways.
Agent Grasso I kind of consider like almost a throwaway agent. He was more of just kind of an illustration of someone Italian working for the FBI.
Nobody ever went broke underestimating the taste of the American public.
Ron Goddard, Tony Soprano.
The terror squad, huh?
You're around Port Newark often enough. We're concerned about what might come through there from the Middle East.
Yeah, and,
Your daughter takes pre-med classes in New York? She uses the tunnels?
I would give Danielle a B+. Right before Chief Cubitoso calls for Danielle to come in, one of the guys says, "I'll have you know she's only done background checks." Well, she steps it up here quite a bit, I think. But she got too close. I would give Agent Sanseverino an F. Agent Sanseverino failed with not only one or two, but 3 potential assets. Not just Adriana, but also Ray Curto and Eugene Pontecorvo. I guess Ray Curto having a heart attack wasn't her fault, but overall, she's 0 for 3. I would give Chief Cubitoso a D. Chief Cubitoso liked to talk a big game, but at the end of the day, what matters? Results. Prosecutions. As we all know, at the end of the day, the buck stops with him, with leadership. It trickles down from the top. I would give Agent Lipari a C+. Agent Lipari developed a good relationship with Puss. He was very aggressive about maintaining oversight of where Puss was, what he was doing. That's why he was his chauffeur to so many appointments, errands, you name it. But at the end of the day, Puss was killed. I would give Agent Harris a C-.
If only Leotardo got popped.
Damn, you're gonna win this thing.
Naturally, as Agent Harris and Tony become closer and more allied with each other, it can be natural for us to start liking Agent Harris more too. We may have liked him all along. But we have to remember that he's not innocent either. Everything with Adriana, every big moment involving the FBI, Agent Harris was there. As of the time that he got switched to the terrorist division, which was right at the start of season 6, Tony hadn't been indicted, which was his whole goal. So, can't say mission accomplished with that for him. For the rest of these guys, there's not much that I have to grade them on. We don't know exactly how long Agent Gosling had been working with the FBI, or how long he'd been in communication with Eugene, but his handoff to Agent Sanseverino certainly didn't go well, as Eugene died by suicide within a couple of days of that meeting that they had. With Agent Goddard, we don't know too much about him either, other than that he's working in the terror squad. But he does seem to have more potential and more competence than some of the other ones, just from my brief observations of him. So, what do you think? How would you rank these FBI agents? What do you think of them as a whole? I'd love to hear.
This recent case against Joe Messino in New York, that was 7 years before indictments were handed down.